They bound me to an alien warrior woman. I didn't know how dangerous she was. The ground beneath him was soft, almost like walking on thick moss, but it glimmered faintly in the alien light. He could hear distant sounds. Some were like wind, but others were strange cries he could not identify. He did not know how he had come here, only that everything familiar about Earth felt far away. He tried to remember what had happened. One moment he had been aboard a research shuttle near the outer edge of the human colony, and the next, a strange beam had pulled him from the cabin. The memory was blurry, like looking at a dream. Now he was alone on this alien world, and panic crept into his chest. He moved cautiously, trying not to make noise, but each step made the soft ground squish under his boots. Ethan's hand shook slightly as he glanced around. Towering structures rose in the distance, like the bones of enormous creatures. The buildings were smooth, almost liquid in appearance, and they reflected the strange sky like mirrors. He wondered who or what lived here. He took a step forward and heard a sudden, low growl behind him. Spinning around, he saw a shadow moving between the alien trees. Before he could react, a net shot out from the trees, tangling around his legs. He fell hard onto the ground, hitting his shoulder. Pain shot through him, but it was not the pain that made him freeze. Standing over him was a creature he could barely comprehend. She looked like a human in shape, but everything else about her was alien. Her skin was smooth and faintly blue, and her eyes glowed faintly orange. She was taller than any human, and her muscles were tense, ready to spring. On her head were small, ridged horns, and her hands ended in sharp, claw-like nails. Ethan's breath caught in his throat. Before he could speak, she moved with lightning speed, pinning him to the ground. Her grip was strong, stronger than any human could hold. "Do not struggle," she said in a voice that was soft but commanding. Ethan's heart pounded. The words were in English, but something about the tone made him feel small and insignificant. I don't know who you are," he stammered. Her eyes narrowed. "You are far from home, human. You belong to me now." Ethan's mind raced. Belong to her? He struggled again, but her grip only tightened. It was clear she was far stronger than any human. Fear twisted in his stomach, but curiosity flickered alongside it. Who was she? Why had she captured him? She dragged him through the forest with ease. Ethan stumbled and fell many times, but she never loosened her grip. The air was filled with scents he had never encountered, sweet, sharp, and strangely metallic. Strange creatures scuttled in the underbrush, but none came near them. It was as if she commanded them to stay away. Finally, they arrived at a structure that looked like a palace made of crystal. It shone in the strange light, reflecting the sky in rainbow colors. The alien woman pushed him inside, and Ethan nearly fell backward in awe. The interior was vast, with walls that shifted colors and floors that hummed softly underfoot. He could see shapes moving in the distance, other creatures like her, but smaller and less imposing. She released him at the center of the hall. Ethan sat on the floor, rubbing his wrists where the net had left marks. "Why are you doing this?" he asked, his voice trembling. The alien woman circled him like a predator studying prey. "You are different," she said. "I have never seen a human up close. You will learn quickly. You will obey or you will suffer." Ethan swallowed hard. I can't just obey. I don't even know you." Her eyes glowed brighter, and she let out a soft hiss. "Then you will learn." She turned abruptly and began walking toward a room at the far end of the hall. Ethan hesitated. The only choice he had was to follow. The room was filled with weapons, unlike anything Ethan had ever seen. Blades that shimmered with light, devices that hummed with energy, and armor that looked indestructible. She approached one of the blades and lifted it with ease, its glow reflecting off her skin. "This," she said, turning toward him, "is for training. You will survive if you can keep up. If you cannot, you will die." Ethan's stomach twisted. Training. She intended for him to fight. He had no weapons, no armor, no experience with anything like this. He felt a wave of despair, but a small spark of determination ignited in him. He had survived dangerous situations before, even on Earth. Maybe, just maybe, he could survive this. She handed him a simple weapon, a short staff that hummed faintly. "Do not drop it," she warned. "You will need it." Ethan gripped it tightly, testing its weight. It was light but seemed strong. He could feel the energy running through it, responding to his touch. He glanced at the alien warrior woman who was watching him silently. Every movement she made was precise, powerful, and graceful. Ethan felt both awe and fear. "Begin," she said suddenly, lunging toward him. Her speed was incredible. Ethan barely had time to raise the staff before she struck. The force knocked him backward and he hit the floor hard. Pain shot through his ribs, but he rolled quickly, trying to defend himself. The first few attempts were failures. Every strike she made was perfectly calculated, and Ethan struggled to anticipate her moves. But he noticed something. She paused for a fraction of a second before every attack, just a little delay. He could use that to his advantage if he stayed calm. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Ethan had lost track of time. Sweat poured down his face and his muscles ached, but he was learning. Slowly he began to block some of her strikes, dodge others, and even push her back once or twice. Each small success made him feel stronger, more alive. The alien woman watched silently, her glowing eyes never leaving him. Ethan realized something. She was testing him, not just attacking him. Every movement, every strike was a lesson in survival, strength, and observation. He had to be smarter than fear. Finally, he stumbled backward, exhausted but still standing. She stopped in front of him, her expression unreadable. "You are weak," she said, "but you have spirit. That may keep you alive for now." Ethan breathed heavily, gripping the staff with both hands. He wanted to ask her why she had brought him here, why she was training him like this, but no words came. He only knew one thing: he had to survive. And somehow he had to understand the alien warrior woman who had bound him to her world. For the first time since arriving, Ethan realized that fear alone would not save him. Only courage, intelligence, and endurance could. And if he learned fast enough, maybe he could live to see another day. Maybe even learn the secrets of this strange, dangerous world. As he watched her turn and leave the training room, Ethan whispered to himself, "I will not fail, not yet." Outside, the alien sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows across the crystal palace. The world was beautiful, deadly, and full of unknowns. Ethan took a deep breath, feeling the weight of his situation, and prepared for whatever came next. The next morning, Ethan woke with a stiff neck and sore muscles. Every part of his body ached from the training the alien woman had given him. He could still remember the force of her strikes, the speed at which she moved, and the sharp intensity in her glowing eyes. His ribs throbbed painfully, but he forced himself to sit up. He had to keep moving. He had to survive. The room was empty. The alien warrior woman had already left, but the staff she had given him lay on the floor beside him. He picked it up, feeling the hum of energy coursing through it. Somehow, it was responding to his touch, as if it knew he needed it. He ran his fingers along the smooth surface, trying to understand how it worked. Every movement of the staff felt natural, almost like an extension of his own body. Ethan took a deep breath and pushed himself to his feet. He did not know where the alien woman had gone, but he felt that she would return soon. The palace was silent, except for the soft hum of the floor and the distant sounds of alien creatures moving outside. He had not explored much of the place yet. Everything was strange: the halls, the rooms, the glowing walls, and the ever-shifting lights. It was like walking in a living dream. He moved carefully, testing each floorboard, listening for any sound that could indicate danger. As he walked, he saw doors leading to different areas of the palace. Some were open, revealing rooms filled with alien artifacts, strange devices, and glowing symbols. Others were closed, sealed tightly, and he could feel a faint energy behind them. He wondered what secrets they held. Hours passed as he explored. He found a room that looked like a library, filled with holographic books and floating panels. He had no idea how to read them, but the images showed battles, strange worlds, and creatures he could not imagine. It was clear that the alien warrior woman and her kind were far older and more advanced than humans. Ethan felt a mixture of fear and awe. Suddenly, the air shifted. He sensed her presence before he saw her. The alien warrior woman stepped into the room, moving silently as if she had been there the whole time. Ethan froze. "You are exploring," she said. Her voice was calm, but there was a sharpness to it that made him tense. I wanted to understand," Ethan admitted. "I need to know where I am, what this place is, and why you brought me here." She circled him slowly, her glowing eyes studying him. "Understanding comes with effort. You will learn only what you survive to see. Do not forget your place, human." Ethan swallowed, feeling the weight of her words. "I will survive," he said, trying to sound confident. "I just want to learn." She stopped in front of him, her gaze piercing. "Then you will train more. You are weak, and weakness will get you killed here. Are you ready?" Ethan nodded, gripping the staff tightly. He had no choice. He had to learn to defend himself, and he had to learn fast. The training that day was harder than anything he had faced before. She taught him how to move quickly, how to strike with the staff, and how to anticipate attacks. Every lesson was a test of endurance. She pushed him to his limits and sometimes beyond. Ethan fell many times, his body screaming in pain, but he refused to give up. "You are too slow," she said, striking him lightly on the shoulder with her claws. "Faster, think faster, move faster." "I'm trying," Ethan gasped, wiping sweat from his forehead. Her eyes glowed brighter. "Trying is not enough. You will do or you will fail, and you die." Fear and determination battled inside him. Each time she struck, he learned something new: how to block, how to roll, how to use the energy in the staff to his advantage. Slowly, he began to see patterns in her movements. She paused ever so slightly before each attack. He could use that pause to react, to defend, to strike back. Hours turned into what felt like days. Ethan lost track of time, caught in the endless cycle of attack and defense. His muscles ached, his skin was bruised, and his mind was tired, but he was learning. The alien warrior woman never relented, never showed mercy, and never lowered her guard. Finally, Ethan managed to block one of her strikes. The force of it pushed him back, but he stood his ground. Her eyes widened slightly, and for a moment, Ethan thought he had surprised her. "Not bad," she said softly. "You are learning. Perhaps you have the spirit to survive." Ethan felt a small surge of pride, but he knew better than to relax. This was only the beginning. After a short rest, she led him outside the palace. The landscape was even stranger than he had imagined. Alien plants with glowing leaves towered over them. Creatures with long limbs and sharp claws moved in the shadows. Ethan could feel danger everywhere, but she walked confidently, as if nothing could touch her. "This world is full of dangers," she said. "You must learn to see them before they see you. If you hesitate, you die." They came to a clearing where the ground was harder, covered in dark stones. She handed him the staff again. "You will fight here. There are creatures in this area. You must survive against them." Ethan looked around. There were small animals scuttling in the shadows, but nothing seemed threatening at first. Then, without warning, something huge leaped from the trees. It was taller than him, with sharp teeth and glowing red eyes. Its claws dug into the ground as it lunged at him. Ethan raised the staff, trying to remember the movements she had taught him. The creature hit with incredible force. He rolled to the side, barely avoiding the attack. His heart pounded. This was real, not training. This was survival. The alien warrior woman stood at the edge of the clearing, watching silently. Ethan realized she had intentionally sent him against this creature alone. He was not ready, but he had no choice. He swung the staff, striking the creature's leg. It howled in pain, but it kept coming. Ethan dodged and rolled, each movement learned from hours of brutal training. Sweat poured down his face and his arms ached, but he kept fighting. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, he found an opening. The staff glowed brightly and he struck the creature in the chest. A flash of light and the creature collapsed. Ethan fell to his knees, breathing heavily. He had survived. The alien warrior woman approached. "You live," she said, "but do not be proud. This was easy. Harder tests are coming. You must be ready." Ethan nodded, too exhausted to speak. He had faced a real threat and survived, but he knew the next test would be harder. This world was dangerous, and the alien warrior woman was relentless. That night, as he lay on the cold floor of the palace, Ethan thought about what had happened. He realized something important. Fear would not save him. Strength alone would not save him. He had to learn to adapt, to think faster than any creature, any challenge, any attack. Only then could he survive. He remembered the way the alien warrior woman had moved, fast, precise, deadly. He remembered the way she had watched him, judging every move, every reaction. And he understood something else, too. She was not cruel without reason. She wanted him to survive, but only if he could match her in skill and spirit. Ethan closed his eyes, gripping the staff tightly. "I will survive," he whispered. "I will learn. I will not fail." The alien sun sank behind the crystal towers, casting long shadows across the palace. Ethan felt small under the vast sky, but he also felt something he had never felt before: determination. He would face whatever challenges this world threw at him. He would face the alien warrior woman, and he would survive. Tomorrow would bring more tests, more fights, more danger. But tonight, Ethan allowed himself a small moment of pride. He had survived the first real challenge of this world. And he had learned something important. In this place, survival depended on courage, skill, and spirit. Ethan's eyes closed, and he fell into a deep, exhausted sleep, dreaming of the strange world outside, the glowing sky, and the alien warrior woman who had bound him to this place. He did not know what awaited him next, but he was ready to face it. The morning light was strange, pale, and green, filtering through the alien sky like a ghost. Ethan woke on the cold floor of the palace, his muscles stiff, and his body still aching from the fight the day before. He sat up slowly, gripping the staff, feeling its hum under his hands. He had survived the first real test against a dangerous creature, but he knew this was only the beginning. The alien warrior woman did not appear immediately. Ethan wandered through the palace halls, careful not to touch anything that might trigger some unknown danger. Every room seemed to pulse with energy, and the walls shimmered like liquid. Some doors were open, others were tightly sealed, and he wondered what might be behind them. He realized he could not rely on luck to survive. He needed to learn to think, to plan. By mid-morning, the warrior woman appeared in the training hall. Her glowing eyes met his, and for a moment she said nothing. Then she spoke in her calm, sharp voice. "Today you will learn to fight against more than one opponent. You will learn to move faster, strike faster, and think faster. Are you ready?" Ethan nodded, holding the staff firmly. He was tired, sore, and still learning, but he had no choice. If he failed, he would not survive. She stepped back, and then suddenly 2 alien creatures appeared from the shadows. They were larger than the one he had fought before, with long, muscular limbs, sharp claws, and glowing eyes. They hissed and advanced toward him. Ethan's heart raced, but he remembered her lessons. He could not panic. He had to focus. The first creature lunged at him, and Ethan swung the staff, striking it on the leg. The creature stumbled, but the second one attacked from the side. He rolled quickly, narrowly avoiding its claws. The training had taught him to anticipate, to move with speed, but this was different. These were not controlled attacks. These were real threats. He used the staff like an extension of his body, striking, blocking, and pushing the creatures back. Sweat poured down his face and his arms ached, but he kept moving. Each time he blocked one strike, another came from a different angle. He had to think ahead to predict their movements to stay alive. The alien warrior woman watched silently from the edge of the clearing. She did not intervene. Every movement Ethan made, she observed, judging, testing, analyzing. He realized that she was not just training him physically. She was training his mind, his instincts, his ability to survive under pressure. After what felt like hours, Ethan managed to knock one of the creatures down. Its body hit the ground with a heavy thud, and it did not get up. The second creature hesitated, snarling and circling him. Ethan felt a moment of hope, but he did not relax. He knew this could be a trap. He swung the staff with all his strength, striking the creature in the chest. A flash of light erupted from the staff, and the creature collapsed. Ethan fell to his knees, breathing heavily, exhausted but alive. The alien warrior woman stepped forward, her expression unreadable. "You survived," she said. "Few humans would have lasted this long. You have spirit, but you are far from ready. Strength alone will not keep you alive. You must learn to see, to anticipate, to adapt." Ethan nodded, too tired to speak. He understood her words. This world was harsh, dangerous, and unforgiving. Survival depended on more than strength. It depended on intelligence, quick thinking, and the will to keep going. After a short rest, she led him to another part of the palace. This area was different, dark, narrow, and filled with shadows. Ethan could hear strange noises echoing through the corridors, and he realized that danger could be anywhere. She handed him the staff again. "You will face your next test here," she said. "Do not underestimate your opponents." Ethan moved cautiously, keeping the staff ready. The shadows seemed alive, shifting and moving around him. He felt eyes watching him from every corner. Then from the darkness, shapes emerged, smaller creatures, quick and agile, darting toward him with incredible speed. He fought fiercely, using every skill he had learned. He blocked, dodged, and struck with precision, but the creatures were relentless. For every one he defeated, two more appeared. His muscles burned, his lungs ached, and his mind raced to keep up with the fast, unpredictable attacks. The alien warrior woman watched silently, her glowing eyes never leaving him. Ethan realized that she was testing not just his strength, but his endurance, his focus, and his ability to adapt under pressure. Hours passed. Ethan fought tirelessly, learning to anticipate the creature's movements, using his environment to his advantage. He dodged behind walls, used shadows to hide, and struck with the staff at the perfect moment. Slowly, he gained control, turning the chaos into a challenge he could manage. Finally, the last creature fell, and silence returned. Ethan sank to the floor, exhausted, covered in sweat and bruises, but alive. He had survived the next test. The alien warrior woman approached, her expression softer than before. "You are learning," she said. "Few humans would have lasted this long. You are stronger than you appear, and your mind is sharp, but there is more to learn, much more." Ethan nodded, trying to catch his breath. I want to learn," he said. "I want to survive. I want to understand this world." She studied him for a long moment, then spoke. "Understanding comes with experience. You will learn through survival, through observation, and through challenges. You will not be safe, human. This is your life now. Do you understand?" Ethan nodded again. "I understand. I will do whatever it takes to survive." She turned and walked away, leaving him in the dark corridor. Ethan knew he could not rest. This world was dangerous, and every day would bring new challenges. He had survived 2 tests, but he knew many more awaited him. That night, Ethan reflected on what he had learned. The alien warrior woman was more than a captor. She was a teacher, harsh but necessary. Her strength, skill, and intelligence were unmatched, and he realized that if he wanted to survive, he had to match her in spirit, courage, and cunning. He thought about the creatures he had faced, their speed, their unpredictability, their sheer ferocity. He knew that survival in this world required more than strength. It required awareness, strategy, and the ability to adapt quickly. Ethan closed his eyes, gripping the staff tightly. "I will survive," he whispered. "I will learn. I will grow stronger. I will not fail." The alien sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the palace. Ethan lay on the cold floor, exhausted but determined. He knew the next challenge would be even harder, but for the first time he felt a spark of confidence. He had faced danger and survived. He had learned to fight, to think, and to endure. And he knew that as long as he kept learning, kept fighting, and kept adapting, he could survive anything this strange, alien world threw at him. Ethan's eyes closed, and he drifted into a restless sleep, dreaming of the battles to come, the alien warrior woman who had bound him to this world, and the strange, dangerous creatures he would face next. The next morning, Ethan woke to the soft hum of the palace. His body ached, but he felt a strange sense of focus. The previous days had pushed him to his limits, yet he had survived. For the first time, he began to feel that maybe he could match the alien warrior woman in skill, if not strength. He picked up the staff and examined it. The energy within it seemed stronger now, as if it had responded to his growing understanding. He practiced some movements slowly, feeling the flow of power through the weapon. Every strike, every block felt smoother, more natural. It was not just the staff that had changed, he had changed too. Before he could rest further, the alien warrior woman appeared at the door. Her glowing eyes met his, and for a moment there was no trace of emotion. Then she spoke. "Today, your test will be different. You will not face creatures. You will face another warrior. You will face me fully. Do you understand?" Ethan's heart skipped a beat. He had been fighting her indirectly, training against attacks, learning patterns. But a full fight meant she would not hold back. She would attack with everything she had. Survival would depend on all he had learned. "I understand," he said, gripping the staff tightly. She led him to a large arena outside the palace. The ground was hard and uneven, dotted with alien rocks and glowing plants. Ethan looked around. The arena was vast, with enough space for them to move freely. The alien warrior woman stepped to the center and raised her staff slightly. Her muscles tensed, her eyes glowed brighter, and she waited. Ethan felt his heart pounding. He took a deep breath, remembering everything she had taught him. Strength, speed, awareness, strategy, they all mattered, but he knew he had to think. A direct attack would fail. He needed to use his mind, not just his body. She moved first, launching a quick strike toward him. Ethan dodged, using a roll he had practiced countless times. He struck back with the staff, but she blocked easily, countering with a swift kick that pushed him back. The fight had begun, and he realized instantly how fast and precise she was. For the next hour they exchanged blows. Ethan blocked, dodged, and countered, but every time he thought he had an opening, she adapted. Her movements were like water, flowing and changing with every strike. Ethan realized he had to change too. He could not rely on learned patterns alone. He had to anticipate, improvise, and outthink her. He began to notice small things, slight shifts in her stance, the way she adjusted her weight before striking, the subtle hesitation in her movements. He remembered her lessons: fight with awareness, anticipate your opponent, use every advantage. Slowly, he began to respond not just to her attacks, but to her intentions. Hours passed, and both were exhausted. Ethan's arms ached, sweat stung his eyes, and his body screamed for rest. But he pushed on. Every block, every dodge, every strike was sharper, more deliberate. He was learning not just to survive, but to fight strategically, to think ahead, and to use the arena itself as an advantage. Finally, he saw an opening. She had raised her staff slightly too high, expecting him to attack directly. Instead, he feinted, moving to the side and striking toward her legs. She stumbled slightly, surprised by the move. For a moment, Ethan felt a rush of triumph. He had found a weakness, a small opening, but she recovered quickly, her eyes narrowing. "Clever," she said, her voice calm but firm. "But do not think that is enough." They continued fighting, but now Ethan felt different. He was not just reacting. He was leading, setting traps, anticipating her responses. He realized that the alien warrior woman was testing his mind as much as his body. Every movement was a lesson, every strike a challenge, every counter an opportunity to learn. As the sun moved across the sky, Ethan began to adapt further. He used the uneven terrain, dodged behind glowing plants, and forced her to change her rhythm. Each time he made her adjust, he gained a small advantage. His confidence grew, not in arrogance but in understanding. He could survive, he could fight, he could learn. The alien warrior woman paused for a moment, studying him carefully. Ethan noticed something new in her expression, respect, faint but real. "You are improving," she said. "You are not weak anymore, human, but you are still not ready for everything. Survival is not only about skill, it is about will. Can you endure pain, fear, and loss without breaking?" Ethan did not answer with words. He had no time. She attacked again, faster than before. He moved instinctively, using everything he had learned. Block, dodge, counter, retreat, strike. Each action was precise, calculated, and deliberate. He realized that this fight was no longer about defeating her. It was about proving to himself that he could survive against impossible odds. Hours turned into what felt like a full day. Ethan's body was pushed to exhaustion, yet his mind remained sharp. He could anticipate her attacks before they happened, respond with skill, and even force her to adjust her movements. He realized that survival required not only strength and speed, but adaptability, strategy, and relentless focus. Finally, the alien warrior woman stopped. She stood in the arena, breathing heavily, her eyes glowing softly. Ethan sank to the ground, exhausted but victorious in his own way. He had not defeated her, but he had survived. He had learned, adapted, and proven his will. She approached him slowly, her expression unreadable. "You have changed," she said. "You are stronger, faster, and smarter than before, but this world is harsh and tests will become harder. You must continue to adapt. Only then will you survive." Ethan nodded, still gripping the staff. "I understand," he said. "I will not stop. I will keep learning. I will survive." The alien warrior woman studied him for a long moment, then turned and walked away. Ethan watched her go, realizing that she had become more than a captor. She was a teacher, a guide, and a challenge. She had forced him to grow in ways he had never imagined. That night, Ethan sat alone in his room, thinking about everything he had learned. He realized that fear and pain were constant companions in this world, but courage, strategy, and determination could overcome them. He thought about the creatures, the tests, and the alien warrior woman herself. Every challenge had taught him something new. He picked up the staff again, feeling its energy in his hands. It was no longer just a weapon. It was a tool, a part of him, a symbol of his growing strength and understanding. He practiced movement slowly, remembering every lesson, every strike, every dodge. Each motion was sharper, more precise, more confident. Ethan realized something important. He could survive in this world not because he was stronger than anyone else, but because he was willing to learn, adapt, and endure. He could face danger, fear, and uncertainty, and still find a way to survive. The alien sun set beyond the palace, casting long, shifting shadows across the walls. Ethan lay on the floor, exhausted, bruised, but determined. Tomorrow would bring new tests, new dangers, and new lessons. But for the first time, he felt ready. Not just physically, but mentally. He had grown stronger, smarter, and more aware. He closed his eyes, gripping the staff tightly, and whispered to himself, "I will survive. I will endure. I will grow stronger." The alien warrior woman stood silently outside his room, watching him with glowing eyes. She had bound him to this world, tested him, and pushed him to his limits. And now she had begun to see something she had not expected: spirit, intelligence, and resilience. Ethan did not yet know the full reason she had brought him here, nor the full danger he would face in the days ahead. But he knew one thing: He was no longer the weak human who had arrived in her world. He was a survivor, a fighter, and a learner. And in this strange, alien world, that was the only thing that mattered. The next day, Ethan woke with a sense of purpose he had never felt before. His body ached less, and his mind was sharper. Every lesson, every fight, and every moment of fear had taught him something new. He was no longer the human who had been dragged to this strange world. He had grown stronger, smarter, and more aware. He picked up the staff and practiced movements slowly, each strike and block precise and deliberate. He could feel the energy in the staff responding to him, as if it recognized his growth. For the first time, he realized that the staff was not just a weapon, it was a part of him. It amplified his skill, his strategy, and his will to survive. The alien warrior woman appeared in the training hall, her eyes glowing brightly. She did not speak at first. She only watched, her posture calm and powerful. Then she spoke. "Today, you will face your final test. It will not be one creature, not multiple creatures, not even me alone. It will be everything you have learned, tested against the ultimate challenge. Are you ready, human?" Ethan nodded, gripping the staff tightly. "I am ready," he said, his voice firm and steady. She led him to a massive arena outside the palace. The ground was rough, scattered with stones and glowing plants. Tall walls surrounded the area, and the sky above shimmered in green and violet. Ethan could feel the energy in the air. This was no ordinary test. Something powerful awaited him. Without warning, creatures of all shapes and sizes began to emerge from the shadows. Some were small and fast, darting toward him in groups. Others were large, with glowing eyes and sharp claws. Ethan's heart pounded, but he did not panic. He remembered everything he had learned, the fights, the strategies, the endurance, the observation. He was ready. He moved quickly, dodging the first wave of small creatures and striking with precision. The staff hummed with energy, guiding his movements. He blocked attacks, countered, and pushed back enemies with skill he had never imagined he could possess. Every movement was deliberate, every decision calculated. The alien warrior woman watched silently from the edge of the arena. She had trained him, tested him, and pushed him to the limits. Now she wanted to see if he could survive the ultimate challenge, using everything he had learned. Hours passed. Ethan fought tirelessly. Sweat poured down his face, his arms burned, and his body ached, but he continued. He used the terrain, the staff, and his mind to survive. He anticipated attacks, adapted to new threats, and struck with precision. The creatures were relentless, but he had grown faster, smarter, and stronger. Finally, the largest creature appeared, a towering beast with glowing red eyes, thick armored skin, and massive claws. Its roar shook the ground, and Ethan felt a wave of fear. He knew this was the true test. If he failed, he would not survive. He took a deep breath and gripped the staff. "I can do this," he whispered to himself. "I will survive." The beast charged. Ethan moved quickly, dodging its first strike. He rolled to the side, struck its leg with the staff, and jumped back. The beast turned, swinging its massive claws. Ethan ducked under the attack, feeling the wind rush past him. He struck again, this time aiming for a weak point he had noticed near its joints. The battle was fierce. The beast's strength was incredible, but Ethan's speed and strategy allowed him to survive. He blocked, dodged, and struck, always moving, always thinking, always adapting. His body was exhausted, but his mind was sharper than ever. He realized that survival was not about defeating the beast with brute strength. It was about using everything he had learned: skill, strategy, awareness, and willpower. He waited for the right moment, then struck with all his energy. The staff glowed brightly and the beast fell, finally defeated. Ethan collapsed to the ground, breathing heavily, his body shaking from exhaustion. He had survived. He had faced the ultimate challenge and lived. The alien warrior woman stepped forward, her glowing eyes calm but proud. "You have done well, human," she said. "You have learned everything I could teach you. You are no longer weak. You are strong, smart, and aware. You have spirit and you have will. You can survive in this world and perhaps even thrive. Ethan struggled to stand, but he managed. He looked at her, feeling a mix of relief, respect, and curiosity. "Thank you," he said. I have learned so much, but I still don't understand why you brought me here. Why me?" The alien warrior woman paused, studying him. "You were chosen because humans are different. You have something no other species possesses: resilience, intelligence, and spirit. You adapt, you survive, and you learn from every challenge. That is why you are here. That is why you survived when others would have failed." Ethan felt a sense of pride and understanding. He realized that his survival had not just been about strength. It had been about courage, learning, and growth. He had faced impossible challenges, endured pain and fear, and come out stronger. The alien warrior woman extended her hand. "You are ready now. You may leave this palace, explore this world, or continue to train. The choice is yours, but remember this: you are no longer weak. You are capable of anything you decide to do." Ethan took her hand, feeling the strength and warmth in her grip. "I will continue to grow," he said. "I will survive, I will become stronger, and I will never forget what I have learned here." She nodded, her glowing eyes reflecting pride and respect. "Then go, human. Show this world what you are capable of." For the first time since arriving on this alien planet, Ethan felt free. He had survived, grown stronger, and learned more than he could have imagined. He had faced fear, danger, and impossible odds, and he had triumphed. As he walked out of the palace, the alien sun casting long shadows across the crystal landscape, Ethan realized that he had changed. He was no longer the frightened human who had arrived. He was a survivor, a warrior, and a learner. He had been tested, challenged, and pushed to his limits, and he had prevailed. He looked back at the alien warrior woman, standing tall and powerful at the palace entrance. She had been his teacher, his challenge, and his guide. And now she had given him something more valuable than strength. She had given him the confidence and understanding to face any challenge, anywhere. Ethan's heart swelled with determination. He did not know what the future held, but he knew he could face it. He had the skills, the mind, and the spirit to survive. And in this strange, alien world, that was everything. The wind whispered through the alien trees, carrying the scents of glowing plants and distant creatures. Ethan walked forward, staff in hand, ready to face whatever came next. He had been bound to an alien warrior woman, trained under impossible conditions and tested against unimaginable dangers. He had survived it all, and now he was ready for anything. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting colors across the alien sky, Ethan felt a sense of peace and strength. He had learned the lessons of courage, intelligence, and resilience. He had faced fear and danger and had emerged stronger. And he knew without a doubt that he could survive whatever this world, or any world, threw at him. He smiled faintly to himself, remembering the challenges, the fights, and the lessons. The alien warrior woman had been dangerous, powerful, and relentless, but she had also been the key to his survival and growth. Without her, he might never have discovered the strength, skill, and spirit within himself. Ethan raised his staff, feeling the energy hum through his hands. He was ready. The world was full of dangers, mysteries, and opportunities, but he would face them all. He would fight, learn, adapt, and survive. And no matter what came next, he would never forget the alien warrior woman who had bound him to her world and taught him to become more than he had ever imagined. He took a deep breath, stepping forward into the unknown, ready for the adventures and challenges ahead. He had survived, grown stronger, and learned the most important lesson of all: that the human spirit, once tested, could endure and overcome anything, even the most dangerous alien warrior and the deadliest challenges of a world unlike any other. And with that, Ethan walked confidently into the glowing alien landscape, prepared for whatever the future held, knowing he was no longer just a human. He was a survivor, a fighter, and a warrior.